Expression, creativity, art. Many do it, some refine it. A rare few set benchmarks. From capturing stories on photographic stillness to breathing life into unforgettable characters on screen, Boman Irani's artistry has transcended time, medium, and expectation. Because creativity, like AI, is limitless when fueled by curiosity. It evolves, adapts, and dares. At Infinity AI, we celebrate the pioneers who shape perspectives, who build not just characters but culture. And today, we welcome one such master of reinvention, the visionary storyteller and our celebrity speaker for Trident's AI Day, Boman Irani.
All right. If you want, you must have seen him on TV, you must have seen him in theater. Today, witness him live right here. This is what I want you guys to do. When I say we want, you say Boman. Let's go. Come on, everybody, put your hands up. Clap, clap. Boman. That's what we'll say. We want. We want. We want. One last time, the loudest time. We want. Put your hands together and welcome the one and only Boman Irani. All right, students. Once again, on my count, 3, 2, 1. Make some noise in the moment, sir. Boman Irani. All right, handing this over to Sumit Mehra, who's the co-founder and chief technology officer. So Mehra meets Mehta. Over to the boys.
Mehta Saab, how are you?
Mehra Saab, how are you?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Looking forward to this. Trust me, till now I was not, but now I am. A lot.
A lot what?
Looking
You're
forward.
a lot of, sorry, no.
Folks who don't know me, I'm Sumit Mehra. I'm one of the co-founders of Tridents.
Folks who don't know me, I'm Boman Irani and I'm an actor.
This is very unfair, guys. I am one of the founders. All right. Great.
Someone on sound, if you could give our sound on the monitors. It's just echoing a little in the background.
Yeah.
A little more on the monitors, yeah.
Yeah. Can you switch it off the monitor?
No. Yeah,
Okay.
better.
Okay.
Go, Mehra, go for it, man.
Let's do it, Mehta Saab. All right. First of all, thanks a lot, Boman, for coming in. Let's start with a bit of getting to know you, your background. I know you have a Parsi background. You mentioned that to us. Could you share a little bit about perhaps even your parents? Were they already in India or did they move in from somewhere? And what was your childhood like, if you don't mind sharing?
Sure. Hi everyone. Hey, good to be here, honestly. And it's so nice that he introduced himself. For those who don't know me, maybe some people in the auditorium, in the crowd, don't know me, or may have watched any of my films, right?
Everyone knows you.
So I don't like to take anything for granted, you know. I'll tell you, I was on a flight once, and early morning flight, and there's some loud chattering going on. And from the aero bridge, I could hear one guy on the phone, rudely and loudly talking, so bloody rudely. And when he came in, he was on the phone, and he's talking loudly. Guys, behind, backstage, silence rakho na baba. I can't hear myself. Yeah, sorry, I'm a little disciplinarian that I am. And he looked stormy and got very excited. मेरा दुनिया का सबसे favorite actor. मेरा दुनिया का सबसे favorite. He went on favorite. He went on. And then suddenly words didn't come out of his mouth. He started, I said, wow, I mean, this must be a real true fan. He came up to me and he bent over, and in my ear he said it so loud that the whole plane could hear it. भाई साहब, आपका नाम क्या है लेकिन? So better to introduce. My name is Baman Irani. I'm an actor. वो we want Baman. People ने chanting कर लिया. कोई थोड़ी मान लिया कौन है बुड्ढा. अभी आप introduce yourself.
Oh boy. I just cannot follow this thing clearly. My name is Sumit and I'm one of the founders of Tidin Singh. That's all I can do.
Sumit briefed me twice. Once for 1 hour 20 minutes and once for 45 minutes here. And what's the word in English? He pakaued me, I swear to God. You guys agree? The founding partners are agreeing with me. Itna bola baapre, 12 years ago in a garage in San Francisco, and we were paying this much rent, and this first year, and this happened and that happened. Okay, the beauty of this is,
Who made me do this?
The beauty of this is that the moment he sat in front of me on the Zoom call, he turned and said, "Is it okay if I pull your leg?" I said, "Sure." I got dibs on that. Huh? I beat you to the bloody punch. Yeah? So he pakaued me and 12 years, and then about 10 years ago, that was the big break, and we got this, and then some figures, then some figures, then some figures. ऐसा लेकिन भाई साहब करते क्या हो तुम लोग? Right? Bloody hell. Huh? And basically, you know what? He took me to the side. He gave me this bloody gyan that I didn't understand. I look intelligent, I'm not. Yeah? And he thought that we were on the same level. I'm not, boss. All he wanted to ask me, he wanted to sound like a serious guy. And of course, God bless him, yeah, a serious guy.
Yeah, no.
But he took me to the side just to ask me this one question. Deepika Padukone, how is she?
That's a deal, right?
My point is, I'm trying to know, why did you have to go through all that bullshit to come to the question that you actually wanted to ask me? Correct, no? But thank you, huh? Basically, I mean, I admire you guys, really. Maybe. But I think he's a little jealous of me. A little?
It's odd.
A lot? I'll tell you why. Just like my school friends, and he does look like just like my school friends, basically they're jealous of me because I get to act with the most beautiful women in the country, right? Is that true?
Absolutely.
Don't be jealous, buddy. I only act as their bloody father. He said, I'll be pulling your leg. Over to you, your turn.
Baman bhai, after this I absolutely want to meet Deepika. I think I deserve it after this.
You asked for it, buddy.
Alright, so I don't know if any questions matter anymore after this. हो गया, अभी चलते हैं. So, on a serious note.
Now let's get serious, okay?
Yeah. I keep on telling all these guys to be serious if they don't understand. So, by the way, really, what was your first job? If you don't mind sharing a little bit about yourself.
So, you asked about he forgot about the first question. Another question. What
I must tell you.
Where you come from, what you do. We came from Iran, man. Actually, the Parsis came some 1800 years ago. But my grandmother and my grandfather actually, believe it or not, rode across the desert on a donkey.
Oh, wow.
It's not a joke, it's not a biblical story. And they stayed overnight in a tent, and then they took a little Arab dhao, as they know, those sailboats, and they sailed across to Mumbai. I met these people, so it's not too far off that my grandparents were refugees. And when you think about it, you know, when we land, the people to receive you at the airport, and people ask you, how was the flight? I mean, how was the flight? What do you say? It's a flight. I'm business class. What are we talking about? Let's be grateful. I'm serious. Let's be grateful. We've become a community of grumblers. We find fault with most things. You know what I mean? You come to the hotel, people are welcoming you. How's your room? Oh, yeah, it's so sweet, man, please. And what I'm trying to say is, whenever there is an opportunity for me to grumble, Sumit, I just say, forget it. Don't waste time on it. Don't waste time on it. And I just think of my grandmom's feet, you know, really. Because we have enough opportunity to grumble. You can grumble about the coffee you got, or the chai mein barabar chini nahi thi. You can grumble about the bloody Bristlery water. You can grumble about your whole, no, I won't do that, don't worry. I'm joking here. But my point is, we have enough opportunity to grumble. Your buddies are going to take your case tonight. We have enough opportunity to grumble. And I'll say one more thing. This is a bit of a red flag. As we move up in life, you guys are doing fantastically well. But with every passing year, believe it or not, you will change. It's like stardom. It's like stardom. In every kind of business or any kind of profession, it is like stardom. In your group, you'll be the one who'll move ahead, you'll get some perks, you'll move ahead. And I always like to create an analogy between your personality and your behavior with the clothes you wear, for example. This is just a thought I had on my own. Like, for example, can I stand up for this? Can I stand up?
Good, yeah,
I have to take his permission for everything.
No.
No, for example, you wear jeans, there's a different body language. There's a different body language. You wear pajamas, there'll be another body language, right? But the day a guy gets his first suit, something gets stuck up his backside, you know. I'm not joking, and I'm saying I'm not joking. It's true, because suddenly you feel you're the cat's whiskers. Same thing happens with moving on in life, from a trainee to a whatever, to becoming the guys in the business class seats. You know what I mean? Nobody laughed at that stupid joke. They want me to say first class seats. Okay, first class seats. The thing is, the moment you wear your first suit, and that's akin to success. Don't let that success change you. Enjoy the success. Because when the suit you walk and there's something stuck up your backside, everybody starts walking like this on the day they wear their first suit. So we've got to be very careful with progress. We've got to be very careful with the perks of the job. You know where I'm going with this. The perks of the job can never be more important than the job itself. You know, and for me, if you have Maiji, like my grandmom and my grandfather, think of them.
Yeah.
Think where they come from, man. Yeah. Never forget your roots is very important.
Yeah.
We suddenly become the cat's whiskers.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit red flag. I had to be a little serious at some point, yeah. Yeah.
By the way, that deserves a clap, guys. And on that note, no grumbling on the work-life balance issues, okay, guys?
Better.
How was it?
Yeah.
I also asked, if you don't mind repeating, about the first job. What was your first job?
So I was dyslexic, dyscalculic, with attention deficiency, all kinds of things. So my grasping of certain things was really off by a lot, especially with numbers. Numbers just don't agree with me. I can't do a Sudoku because just see the numbers and something happens, I get hives. I'm not joking. This new thing, when you want to make some payment, you've got to get an OTP. Yeah, OTP. Yeah, you check it, Baba. I can't remember. Numbers just fall down as if it's a strainer. It just falls down from my brain, man. So imagine in school when people are calling me, they call me duffer. Duffer, not dyscalculic, duffer. And I didn't have a father. My father died before I was born. So everybody used to feel some kind of pity towards me. Bichara, Baman, bichara. Why bichara? I don't understand. So, plus this whole thing, plus I never spoke till I was 8. I had a speech defect. I used to lisp like virus, like this. I used to talk like that. So I had complications. Numbers. I go to the wrong room every single time. Yeah, in the hotel. I'm not joking. People, oh. Sometimes I go on purpose, but we, dirty minds, yeah. Anyway, so the point I'm making is, so learning became difficult. So my first job was, I said, let me go and work in a hotel. And my first job was room service.
Awesome.
Yeah. Not necessarily. I went to the Taj Mahal. My granny told me, you can do whatever you want, son, but be the best at it. Be the best at it.
Awesome.
It doesn't matter what job you do. So I went to the Taj. There was a manager there called Sam Bhada. You remember the name for me? I forget. Sam Bhada. You remember the name? Yeah?
We'll remember.
Yeah. And he was doing an interview. And I went and stood in front of him with practice the whole night. I'm standing up. You don't stand up. I'm doing no.
Okay.
No. And stands in front of Sam Bhada. Practice the whole night what to say. Put on a voice. Which department do you want to join? Food and beverage. Guess what he told me, Sumit? Hey, drop the bloody accent. Speak naturally. What's he basically saying, Sumit? Be yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to impress people by putting on an exterior. Be yourself. And I said, food, bolo, jaldi bolo. I said, food and beverage. He says, the whole bloody hotel business is about food and beverage, you damn bloody son. I said, rendezvous. Rendezvous. The French restaurant. And I wanted to join the rendezvous. He's saying, hey, that's really good. He taught me a new word that day. Even Shashi Tharoor hasn't heard of it. And that word is called want. He says, you know what? I'm impressed. You want something. If you don't want anything, you got no story to tell. You have to have many goals till you get your cosmic goal, the goal that you really want out of life. But before that, they say even in a film, you need about 23 wants before you get your final want. I will always refer to script writing in our conversation, okay? So you want something. I said, great, yeah, I want something. He says, you want to be in the most expensive restaurant in the country? I said, yeah, French restaurant. Oh, very good. You want to start right away? I said, yes, sir. He's saying, okay, start. Go to the basement, you idiot.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Start from the bottom.
From below ground
From below.
level.
You do not get to the top.
He said, you think I'm going to send you up today? Go to the basement. And they sent me, opened the door, somebody must have kicked me out of the lift door in the basement. Some guy pushed me to something and gave me a pichkari. You know what a pichkari is?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dirty minds, don't giggle over there. And I was squirting dishes and folding napkins, a room full of napkins that fell on my head, napkins and linen. And then I started doing room service, started getting tips. I said, wow, tips. And it took me 2 years to get to the rendezvous, but I got there. That was my first want. And we all must have a want in life, you know?
Fantastic. By the way, if I can say this, phenomenal career, starting, as you mentioned, as somebody in the hospitality service, starting from the bottom to where you are today, and the changes you have made over the period, right? From that to, I know you also took photography and then became an actor and now a director. That's called risk taking. Perfect credence DNA. Shubh, would you agree, Shubh and Shashank? Rekha, should we start talking about as a new co-founder? There you go. So, please welcome a new next co-founder, Boman Irani.
Shares will be directly made. So, if you send an OTP for a number of shares, I'll remember that bloody number, I swear to God.
We can talk about and we negotiate.
No talking, it's decided. They're approved. Yeah. Camera on hai, aapka camera on hai? Yeah.
CFO sahab, let's just talk about it.
Do char share de do na.
Sir, all of it is yours. Actually, now that we're talking about your career, I know the way you started is actually very, very inspirational. But do you mind sharing how did you get into cinema then? I know how you started, but what was the transition into cinema?
So, you want the long version or the short version?
Longer is best.
Why am I asking you? You want the long version? He said we'll be pulling each other's legs. He hasn't even tried now. He realizes, because if he pulls my leg, I'm not bad at it now.
You're really, really good at it. This is called a learning experience. So I'm really learning today.
बस बहुत हो गया एक तो चेक आया नहीं अभी तक so I worked at the Rendezvous. I finally then we had a shop. We had a dukan. And my grandfather started the shop, my father ran into debt when he was ill, and my mother ran it, poor girl. I mean, it must have been really hard for her because when my father died, I was in her womb. She had 3 girls, and then I came along late as usual, and yeah. And on top of it, she gets this boy who's going to turn her world around. This kid who's terrible at studies because he's got learning disabilities. He's not terrible at studies, he's terrible at certain subjects. Right. Very important. Everything, there's certain things that I did pretty amazingly well, yeah. And that there's a compensation of that, which was movies. Can I stand up again?
Please.
I'm standing, I don't speak. I got a lisp. I should talk like this. I should talk like that. And I used to frown. Imagine this happy-go-lucky guy was a frowner as a child because he didn't know what was happening to him in his life. And I said, you know, my mother. I'm standing on stage in a choir with a big paper, red bow, lipstick rouge, you know what they do to kids. And I'm standing and my mother is sitting somewhere there. Not you, my darling. You're not, you know. She's saying, who, me? No. She's sitting over there in the auditorium and we're singing, and I'm singing pretty okay because singing, there was no stammering, no stuttering, and there was no lisp. I don't know how. And she's smiling throughout the whole show. And in the taxi, I asked her, on the way home, I asked her, Mom, why were you smiling so much? She said, because son, for the first time in your life, you were smiling.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. I'm saying to myself, why was I smiling? I couldn't figure it out. But she was a smart lady. She figured out something, Sumit.
Awesome.
You know what she figured out? She figured out my nursery. She figured out where I was happy. She figured out that I like being on stage, guys. You can see that. You can see that. You can see I'm happy on stage. I'm a very shy person, believe it or not. Believe it or not, I'm a very shy person. And she saw me, and there's something that happened to me on stage. I became a tiger. And she made it a point to put me on stage and to send me for theater, for voice training, for singing classes, and to the cinema. She just send me to the movies every day.
Wow.
Every day. And everybody says, Jaru, what are you doing to this kid? He's saying he's learning. He's learning history, he's learning geography, he's learning art, he's learning all kinds of things. So send me to see Piazza every day. Go and see it. Listen, now this time concentrate on the poetry. It was YouTube for me. It was YouTube. Go and listen to the poetry and the lyrics. Look at the lighting. I don't know how she figured that out, but I understood it. I understood it even as a little kid. When she was sitting at the shop once, there was a family friend called Farud uncle. And he came sad. How's it going, Jaru? How are things? Have you paid off your debt? 59,000 rupees debt she had when my dad died. And a lot of people claimed money. She said, I don't care. People warned her, they're just claiming stuff. Saying, I don't care. This was a brave woman, huh? Saying, I don't care. Because maybe they're wrong. Maybe they're cheating me. Maybe they're right. I can't take that chance. Because if I deny someone some money, and then when I pay off this debt and I take my kids in a car to the movies, they can't point out at my car. That's my mom. And Farud uncle came, and I'm sitting there at the shop. I must have been 11 years old. And he said, Jaru, what's running at the Novelty? Now the Novelty cinemas back back wall where the screen is was our side wall where our frying pan was, our bhatti wall, right? It was warm, but if you put your ear, you could hear the vibration of the movie that was going on. And he said, what movie is running? And I said, El Cid. El Cid? I said, yeah. Charlton Heston, Sophia Loren, Herbert Lom, directed by Anthony Mann. Hey, wow, this kid. And mom said, Farooq, you want to watch the movie? So Farooq uncle, I wish. He said, no, Boman will take you. Who? An 11-year-old kid. Right? I took him to see the movie. It was empty. And I was telling him the story as it was happening. He was an old man. But not only was he old, my mother sent me to accompany a man to tell him the story of a film because he was blind. You know what I'm trying to say? Now, what did my mother do? My mother empowered me and told me, you're good enough, young man, to tell a blind man a story as it's moving in real time. That's empowerment. That's empowerment. Encourage in your team. Everything. This is great. This is great. And Boman has got these nice little anecdotes. But it's about empowerment and making somebody in the team feel, you can do it, buddy. That's teamsmanship. And that's what my mom and I were, a team. She made me feel like $1 million, saying, go and tell the story. And that day, I came out, and I'm saying, yeah, I know about the movies. I know about the movies, and someday, I'll make a movie.
Awesome. I mean, clearly your mom discovered your talent and encouraged you and empowered you to follow your dreams, and clearly you were very good at it, and clearly you are amazing at it. So thank you very much for that story. I do want to talk about the journey from being a photographer to an actor to a director.
Right.
You just, directed the Mehta Brothers, your first venture.
Yes.
Mehta Boys, sorry. Do you mind sharing?
You've seen the Mehta Boys, right?
Yes, actually. That's.
I'm just pulling his leg.
On the way back to.
See, the idea of yanking it as a chain and we had decided we're going to pull each other's leg, right?
I'm really trying to find your leg. I'm not able to find your leg actually right now.
He said,
but I'll get there someday. Anyway.
But let me tell you something.
Please.
Thank you for your sportsman-like behavior. Yeah. But it just reflects the kind of person you are and the kind of people you have in your company.
You know what I feel like right now? If you follow cricket, think about you're the 11th batsman facing Malcolm Marshall. He's pounding bouncers and bouncers and bouncers. I'm like, all right, buddy, keep going.
It was your bloody idea, man.
I'm not gonna get out today.
Wasn't it his idea? Where are you, Shubh?
There you go, Shubh's idea.
Shashank Redemption. You on that call. You heard how he pagawed me on that call. And he said, I'll be pulling your leg. Is that okay with you? Yeah, of course.
I'm not changing with you guys for sure. So now, really, I'd love to hear your story about what motivated you, what inspired you to take the directorship, and how has been the journey? Like, what do you find fun or challenging about it?
Well, that's the point. That's you just said it. What do I find fun? You got to find what is fun, right? I used to sit at the wafer shop. I worked there for 14 years, but it wasn't fun. I took pride in my work. I got married when I was at the wafer shop. I took great pride. My body used to, no matter how many showers I took, would always smell of ghee and potatoes. Yeah, and that's the only thing. And I used to tell Zenobia, I said, am I smelling? So she said, don't worry about it. Wear the smell with pride, you're working hard and don't worry about it. But I needed to do something creative. I did not take my family out for a holiday for about 7 years after marriage, after having kids, 2 kids, 7 years. And I broke the piggy bank, which I made tips from, and bought myself a camera. It was a Pentax K1000 basic camera. See, guys, I don't mean to be nitpicky, but can you ask somebody outside to keep the
Yeah. Guys.
Yeah. I hope I'm not sounding like
No, this is perfect,
old
actually.
Parsi man, right?
No, no.
Oh, I must so the thing was, I needed to up my game because of the wafer shop. Suddenly, they called me Bamman Seth. For what? Doing nothing. Just running what my father and my mother kind of. I started taking photographs of school events, sports photographs, and used to sell those pictures for 20 rupees a piece. And I made some money and wanted to take my family out for a holiday, and we went to Ooty, and the hotel we went to looked like a horror film set. Yeah, and we were standing there, and my wife is looking at the hotel and saying, and I'm an improviser, as you may have figured out. I said, darling, this is from outside. It is a heritage property. You come inside. Inside was even worse. Those doors with louvers, you know the one with the tea cuddy? The sound effect also like a horror film. The sound of wind, and it was pitch dark. It was pitch dark. I said, somebody turn on the light. He turned on one light. One light came on. It was still pitch dark. You know why? It was a 0-watt bulb in the room. One. I'm looking at that bloody bulb and said, that's me. That's me. And sometimes you need to realize that you're stagnating. You're stagnating. Just because people call you Bamman Seth and you manage to take your family out for a holiday, but not a good holiday. You are stagnating. Don't let that happen. And I think that's me. I got to up my game. And you want. And I said, instead of doing I'm grateful I was do school sports day. Cycle races, long jump, high jump, running, hurdles, you name the thing. Hockey matches, football matches.